Hi everyone, good afternoon. Today we have a meeting with Portugal. So we have to Catherine, and we are so glad that she had accepted our invitation.
Hi everyone.
So we're gonna have today her meeting, and then we are gonna send the form that you can send us your question, and at the finish of the meeting we are gonna read the questions at Catherine. So we're gonna have her meeting, and then we are
I
gonna
want to
send
say that
the
I'm really
form
glad that
that
you
you
accept the
can
invitation for
send
this
us
project.
your
And now
question,
you can start
and
projecting.
at the
Oh, let
finish
me.
of the meeting we are gonna read the questions at
Yeah.
Catherine.
Now you can start
So
projecting.
we're gonna have her meeting, and then we are gonna send
Hello,
the
good
form that you
afternoon.
can send
Nice
us
here.
your
And now you
question,
can
um,
start
I
projecting.
think
at the
you can all
finish
hear
of
me
the meeting
clearly.
we
So
are
if there's
gonna
a problem,
read
please tell me and I'll try to
the
correct it.
questions at Catherine.
Now you can
So
start
my name is
projecting.
Caterina Dracos. I'm the new in from ANEM Portugal. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our exchange programs, and then at the end answer all the questions you might have. So feel free to ask me whatever you want. Okay, so first of all, just to give you a little introduction, our exchanges started in 1983. At the moment, we have around 500 exchange students per year, a little bit less because of COVID this year. And we have eight local committees, as you can see here on the map. 7 are SCORE active, local committees, and 8 are SCOPE active. Here, Algarve, which is in the south of Portugal, isn't SCORE active yet, but we are really trying to get it SCORE active as well. So we have around 100 SCORE, 400 SCOPE, and 3 public health exchanges. Although next year we won't be able to have public health exchanges, but we will try to get some projects for the season after. And here's an image of one of our famous pastries. I'm sure if you come to Portugal, you will try it. So this is supposed to be showing a map of Portugal, but if it doesn't load, it doesn't matter, I can pass over it. But basically on the map of Europe, Portugal is here on the end. It's surrounded by sea, which means we have beaches, but it's also a European capital. So we have really a lot to see, good food, and it's really worth coming to Portugal here. Again, my images aren't loading, but here you can see what I was saying about the sea. So we have beautiful beaches in the south of Portugal. One of our LSTs is in the south, so Faro, and the others are main cities. But if you do come, make sure to take some days out for the beaches. And although we are well known for our beaches, our sunny weather, happy people, we also have a few mountain sightseeing places. For example, this is in the north, it's the Doru River. So we have 2 main rivers, the Tejo, which passes through Lisbon, and the Douro, which is up in the north. And it's really beautiful. It's also where they make the Douro wine, so the port wine, which is also very nice. And we also have mountains and rivers in Gerês, which is also in another of LCs called Covilhã. So although all our LCs are different and they're located all throughout the country, they all have something special to see. Some more photos. So this is called the Portuguese Venice. It's Aveiro. We don't have an LC here, but it's up a little bit to the north as well. So if you visit, make sure to pass. And this last image is Coimbra. It's one of our LCs as well, and it's an amazing, vibrant student city. It has one of the oldest universities in Europe, the Universidade de Coimbra, and you can see the students walking around in the city with the black clothing, and it looks a little bit like Harry Potter, since J.K. Rowling, when she wrote Harry Potter, was inspired by the Portuguese students passing by. Okay, and now a bit to the more serious stuff. So we have a national health service in Portugal, which works. So we have our healthcare has the national health service, the social health insurance schemes, and the voluntary private health insurance. But usually all of our hospitals that we send our incoming students are associated to our national health service, so public hospitals, and you'll be able to see a lot of different things depending on which clerkship you're in. Then we have 8 medical schools, so 1 in each LC, 6 years of an integrated master's in medicine. Then at the end, we have a national final exam, 1 year of pre-residency, and then the residency to specialize, you have 4 to 6 years. But if you come, you will learn a lot more about our path to getting becoming a doctor. About our availability, this has changed a little bit since I made this presentation, but we accept students in almost every single month, except December and January only Scopy. But our main incoming students usually come in July and August, which is when we have a big part of our exchanges. But you will be welcome to come in any other month, although the National Social Program is only organized in July and August, because obviously that's when most of our students come. And again, here are the different LCs. So Braga, really up north. Then we have 2 in Porto, 1 in Covilhã, which is where the mountains are, 1 in Coimbra, which is the student city, 2 in Lisbon, and 1 south where the beaches are. And this is again the availability map, but you can find this in our exchange conditions, and it has been updated this year. So if this is outdated, please check the exchange conditions on the IFMSA website, okay? Okay, so what do we do nationally for our incoming students? So we have our own AEMPPI Portugal student handbook, which you can find here. It has an important part on public health, and it's been a lot more developed. So we always ask our students to fill in the handbook and then the logbook for score. And we organize during the summer months and upon arrival training in every single LC. And we organize a pre-arrival training as well nationally via Zoom just before the exchange starts and just before incomings come, to make sure to answer all of their questions before they arrive in Portugal. And then every local committee has activities. They have an amazing social program, which you can follow on our Instagram, which I will share with you at the end of the presentation. And you can see all of the activities that have been done this year during COVID. So it's been a little bit more limited, but we've still been able to do some stuff. On a year that has, obviously that hasn't been affected by COVID, we would have a national social program. This is 1 weekend in Porto and 1 weekend in Lisbon. We try to pick all of the main touristic attractions, and the costs are around 100, 125 for both weekends, but it's really worth it because you really get to see everything that the main 2 cities have to offer, which is Porto in the north and Lisbon in the south. And like I said, this is Lisbon. So this is the Torre de Belém in Belém, the Mosteiro de Jerónimos, the monastery, and the Pena Palace, which is a fairy tale palace in Sintra, which we always make sure to take our incomings because it's really beautiful. You really feel like you're in a film or in a storybook. And then this is Porto, so the little houses next to the river, and the old carriages, and the church. Okay, local activities. So I don't know if you can scan this QR code, but if you can, try, because we have a BuzzFeed quiz, so you can find out which LC would be perfect for you. If you can't, then we'll send it to you later. But so our social program is very varied. We have obviously the wine, the fado music, which is traditional Portuguese fado, traditional Portuguese music. We try to organize more culture things, and then more fun activities and FDPs, etc. Dinners, volunteering, movies. We really try to make it as varied as possible. And as well as the social program, we have our academic quality. So we try to focus on having a few lectures, a few clinical cases, workshops. It's really important for us that our incomings have the best experience possible, be it in their social program or their academic activities. So we really are there for them and try to make sure they have a nice experience. This is an example. So this is Coimbra's social program. You can see that 2 weekends are always reserved for the national social program, and then there's always a welcome dinner, there's always an arrival training, pub crawls, barbecues. Aveiro is the Portuguese Venice, and then goodbye dinner, father nights, and FDP. So it doesn't vary much. There's loads of activities, but I'm sure that you will enjoy it just as much as having the clerkship and the social program at the same time. Lastly, just before we finish and we go to the questions, just to say that we have a few documents which you can look at as well when you're deciding. I think I have sent this document to your NEO. If not, then I can send it again. But we have a manual on exchanges. It explains everything of every single LC nationally. It has all our information and pretty pictures. Then we have merchandising as well for our students. I haven't updated this, but this year we had as well some tote bags, which are really nice. And then a national ethics code for medical students. Obviously, we want everyone to be responsible and ethically correct, and make sure that the exchange goes in the best way possible. So follow our Instagram page, which is here, anem.exchanges. Check it out, see if you like it. And if you do, then we'll be really happy to receive you next year. And again, thank you to Sol and everyone for inviting me and for organizing this, which I hope will be really good for you to get to know all the different countries. So if you want, I'm sure, yeah, this is not.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. It was really good. So we have some questions. What months are recommended for the exchange?
Yeah, so usually, like I said, we have most of our exchanges in July and August, and this is when we organize the biggest social program, the national social program, and the hospitals are usually open more to teach students because it's when we don't have our Portuguese classes. So I would say definitely July and August. But again, if we try any other month, there will be fewer incomings, less of a social program, but we will obviously do our best to receive you. But again, July, August, if you can.
Another question is that it is a problem don't dominate the language of the country.
Okay, so most of our tutors speak English. So English is the official IFMSA language. This will not be a problem if you have an okay English. I mean, your official language is Spanish, so I'm sure that Portuguese and Spanish are very close. I wouldn't say that we can completely understand you, but a mixture of English and Spanish could work. For example, I did my exchange in Mexico, and I didn't speak, well, I speak Spanish, one of my friends didn't speak Spanish at all, and she could, with gestures and Portuguese words and English, she could try to make herself understood. So I would really recommend you have an English because it's official language, but you coming from a Spanish speaking country will be easier for you for sure.
Okay, the next question is, which medical departments are the most requested by incoming?
Okay, that's a good question. I can't answer you right now. I would have to go and look at the Excels. But from what I saw by just scrolling through application forms, usually people choose internal medicine because it's where you see the most. I think that's usually either that or surgeries. But again, I would have to check. But what I would recommend you do is you put the specialties which interest you the most, and we usually try to place people in their first 3 options. This year was more complicated because hospitals were having trouble accepting our students, but usually you get placed either in first or second option. So put whatever you like the most. Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, the place where we stay a month, will it be with a family host or in a share resident with university students?
Okay, that's a good question as well. So in July and August, since our Portuguese students are on holiday, you almost for sure will be placed in a student residence, which will be preferable. But if you go outside the summer months, we will try to find student residents so that all the incomings can be together. If not, then we will place them with host families, which again is nice because you get to really spend time with a Portuguese family. But I would say that then during the summer, easier student residencies. Outside the summer, it can depend, and I can't tell you 100% sure it will be a student residency.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another question is, how much do you think our budget should be for the exchange?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, out of all of the European countries, Portugal is not the most expensive. It's an average budget. I don't want to say a wrong number, but I think for the whole month, excluding the meals that you'll have at the cafeteria, with the national social programs, maybe like 400, excluding flights, excluding all of that stuff. In the country, maybe less, maybe 300.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
euros.
Yeah, that's all the questions, and we want to thank you for again for accepting the invitation. And Madeline, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to again say thank you so much because you accept our invitation, and I'm sure that all the people that be here hearing us right now via YouTube are in love with Portugal, and they would wanted to make the internship to Portugal. I'm sure of that.
Good. Please come.
Katerina, one thing I want to say to you that please stay like 5 minutes before of the end of the transmission. You can turn off your camera, but it's just a moment, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, bye.